Okay, so my name is Dr. Raye Mitchell, and I am an enthusiastic fan of the great work here at the BookFest. And I've been a part of this from the beginning, and I am delighted to be back. So today, I want to just do a very short soundbite on a very important issue for both writers and readers on the topic of to tell the truth or not. Whether you're writing a memoir, an investigative journal, creative fiction, fiction inspired by real events, you're always going to have this dilemma about how do you tell your truth and the risk and the rewards. So our segment today isn't going to be the how-to part. I wanted to take this sort of introduction time to share with you this phenomenal American hero who I met, and she has this incredible story to tell. But spoiler, we're not going to tell you the whole story today. So what you're going to get is just an introduction to meet Cindy Brown and the work that we've been doing, and invite you back to the BookFest to hear more about how do you tell the truth to measure the risk and the opportunities. So let me give you a small introduction, and then I'm going to turn it over to Cindy. And then we'll sort of have a chat about the truth, the law of truth, the power of truth, and how do you tell the truth. As a writer, a content producer on all platforms. So I had the pleasure of meeting Cindy when I was participating as a guest on a popular podcast about the beginning of the summer. And her story was captivating at that point. And so I became more interested in the background. So I sort of turned on my investigative journalist, advisor, consultant role, and I dug into the storyline. So here is Cindy Brown. She is a proud gold medal Olympian from the 1988 Olympic Goals. She is part of the America's WNBA. No, tell me right, Cindy. The women's basketball team.
Yeah, WNBA participant. And
then she had a professional career after that, correct?
Yes, certified administrative coordinator for the American Disabilities Act, and also a studying private investigator.
So, she's also being a little modest. She has certificates from training with the FBI. She is a security officer, and she's like one really brilliant, self-taught woman who knows how to get at the truth. So here's the big drama. So she's an Olympian, and for 17 years, she has been investigating this horrendous incident that began with identity theft fraud. And she has been on this journey of truth seeking and truth telling for 17 years. And it's led to some amazing discoveries, which when I met her, she was at a junction in her road where she was trying to decide the next way to proceed. I did some background information. Lo and behold, I wound up writing, as we're doing this, a 300-page whistleblower complaint. And we've distributed to a number of agencies, authorities, etc. And we can't talk about it right now, but when we come back to our fuller session, Cindy's going to talk to you more about her journey and what happened and what led her to become not just a world-class competitor and athlete, but also a truth seeker who I'm hopeful one day we can persuade her to share that in a book, a movie, both, all, because it's a story that is so inspirational that it made me put down everything else I was doing so that I can learn some more about Cindy's journey. So from that, Cindy, tell us some more great things about you and your quest to be an honest truth teller.
Well, thank you so much for all the comments. It's definitely puckering up my cheeks and blushing. You're absolutely correct about finding the truth. It's all about the journey to truth. I found a lot of people in similar situations like myself have fallen into a category called disabilities, which a lot of people didn't want to talk about. But we're finding a lot of people are falling into the mental health category that now, great athletes are starting to speak about, but also we're starting to research how it affects our everyday life. And when someone lies on you and they discharacterize who you are and what you do, it's time to start healing from that, because those lies really make an impact on our lives. And so seeking the truth, really, it helps us to heal, and that's the wellness part of our lives, everyone's life. And so finding the truth is my journey, because it happened to me, and I can actually explain it in detail, what happened, how my physical reactions and triggers came into play, how it has dysfunctionally. I feel like I'm abandoned out of everyday society because of the shame, the humiliation, and I want to find a solution to correct that. And
Great.
so,
I'm sorry. So, the thing about the Book Fest is that it's a remarkable tool for bringing out both issues and opportunities for writers and readers. And so, in the writing community, I'm absolutely certain that everybody that's going to hear this message has an incredible story to tell, not just in terms of their work, but probably their journey to get to their work as a writer. Many people ponder the memoir. And when you think about the memoir, it is the truth as you lived it and how you want to tell it. And one of my skills as a storyteller and helping people be heard is I'm also a licensed attorney, although I don't practice in that, so don't call me for that. But I help people understand the risk of being a truth teller. So, for example, yes, you do need to know what can you say and how would you say it. Obviously, the obvious part about being a truth teller is, are you defaming someone? But truth is a defense to defamation. Another issue of the law of telling your story in the form of a memoir is, are you disclosing private, confidential facts? That would be the concept of an invasion of privacy. And a third one is, are you disclosing true facts, but it's putting people in a bad light? And there's laws across the state, but my favorite quote is from a California Court of Appeals that says, writers write, people that do movies make movies, and nobody has an ownership over the facts. So if you are telling the truth, and as you know it and recall it, you can tell your memoir. You just have to have some parameters about what and how you say it. It doesn't mean you don't get to say it. So in Cindy's case, in our whistleblower complaint, we fall into an area of being a public servant. Our whistleblower complaint is going to government officials at very high level. And so sometimes when you are telling the truth as a whistleblower, that gives you a level of protection as well. And another point that I would make before I switch it back to Cindy is, as a professional, I'm an attorney, and I have all these other constraints about the truth that I can tell. For example, I'm still a licensed professional with the California State Bar. So when I tell the truth, I can't denigrate a judge, even though it is true that the judge may require denigration. But I have constraints. So you have to think about your constraints, your professional constraints. Maybe you learned something on the job and you signed a confidentiality agreement. So to tell the truth is a great ambition, but then it has these parameters. But let's flip over to the rewards. And I want to go back to Cindy. I met Cindy on the podcast. And as I mentioned, or will mention, our podcast across 3 platforms has garnered over 250,000 views. So Cindy's going to close with a statement about how important it was for her to know that over 250,000 people have heard her truth and are interested enough to hear more. And then we'll close, and then next time we'll talk more and more details. So Cindy, you're the last important voice on this.
I just want to thank all the followers to, follow and be interested in finding out the truth and the story. I'm pretty sure many people can resonate with the story because we're seeing a flux of cases through the system that have similarities. And so your support is so greatly needed because even though you look at my credentials, everyone thinks we're superheroes, and we're not. We're human beings. This is a human. We're just. It's a human issue, and I've been severely damaged by it, and I'm trying to recover and show people how I can recover and how they can also. It's all about health and wellness. And that's what we're trying to do, is to tell the story, to explain in detail each day different events that took place, and how we overcame these triggers, anxieties, post-traumatic stress disorders, and just being a good human being. That's what it's all about.
And my closing part is book writing is therapy. It's healing and it's also creative. They're not separated. So with that, we leave you asking for more, I hope.